The warmth of the porcelain cup lingered on Livia's fingertips long after she should have set it down, as if heat could be memorized. She would later wonder why that moment returned to her in flashes, why the memory of standing barefoot on cold carpet at nearly 2 a.m, listening to a stranger breathe on the other side of a narrow table, felt like the beginning of something she didn't yet have language for. Was it possible to sense desire before it had a face? Or did she recognize it only now, looking back, when her pulse learned a new rhythm? Before we fall deeper into this story, into the way moments like these quietly undo us, if you love WLW narratives filled with tension, slow-burning desire, and forbidden closeness, subscribe, like, and tell me if you have ever felt something like this. The hotel was older than it looked, its hallways softened by decades of footsteps and secrets. Room 203 sat at the end of the third-floor corridor, where the lights dimmed just enough to make shadows feel intentional. Livia hadn't chosen it. After the fire, after smoke-stung lungs and a night spent watching flames lick the side of her building, this place had been chosen for her. Temporary, they'd said. A pause. A place to breathe. She hadn't expected to meet anyone who mattered here. The first night, she woke thirsty, her mouth dry with the taste of ash and insomnia. The hallway was quiet, but the small lounge near the elevator glowed with a single lamp, casting amber light across a table set for two. Someone was already there. Serena sat with her back half-turned, dark hair falling in a careful line down her spine. She wore a soft sweater, sleeves pushed up as if she'd forgotten they were there, and her hand moved steadily across the pages of a black notebook. Not frantic. Not hurried. Intentional. The sound of pen against paper felt intimate, like overhearing a thought. Livia hesitated, her fingers curling around the doorframe. She could have gone back. She should have. Instead, she stepped forward, her bare feet whispering against the carpet. Serena looked up. The air changed. Livia felt it immediately, a subtle shift, like warmth spreading in a room where a window had just been closed. Serena's eyes were tired but alert, the kind that had seen too much and decided to keep going anyway. She didn't smile right away. She studied Livia, the pause stretching one breath longer than politeness required. Coffee? Serena asked finally, her voice low, carrying the night in it. Livia nodded, surprised by how easily the answer came. She crossed the room, stopping a little too close before she realized there was space she hadn't used. Serena poured without asking how she took it, the steam rising between them. When Livia accepted the cup, their fingers brushed, just once, just barely, but it landed like a question. The porcelain was warm. Comforting. Dangerous in how grounding it felt. They didn't introduce themselves right away. They stood there, sharing heat in the small circle of light, listening to the building settle. Somewhere above them, someone shifted in sleep. Somewhere far away, a siren cut through the city and faded. I'm Livia, she said eventually, her voice softer than she intended. Serena. The name felt deliberate. Like the notebook. Like the way Serena held her cup with both hands now, thumbs resting against the rim as if she needed the warmth too. They sat. They drank. Silence stretched, not awkward, but waited. Livia became acutely aware of her own body, the way her shoulders relaxed, the way her breath slowed to match Serena's without permission. She noticed the faint scent of something clean and warm on Serena's sweater. Soap, maybe. Or paper. Or something else entirely. You're up late, Livia said, then immediately wished she'd chosen something better. Serena's mouth curved, just slightly. So are you. It felt like an invitation. The nights found a rhythm after that. Coffee shared at odd hours. Stories offered in fragments. Livia talked about the fire in practical terms, the logistics, the shock, the way everything smelled like smoke even days later. Serena listened without interrupting, her gaze steady, her presence firm in a way that made Livia feel seen without being examined. Serena spoke less. When she did, it was about small things. A city she'd loved once. A habit of writing when sleep refused her. She never mentioned why she was here, only that the hotel suited her. The black notebook never left her side. Livia found herself watching Serena's hands as she wrote, the way her fingers paused before certain words, as if weighing whether they deserved to exist. She noticed how Serena tugged lightly at her sleeves when she was thinking, how she pressed her thumb into the notebook's spine like an anchor. One night, their chairs were closer. Livia couldn't remember who had moved them. Serena reached for the coffee pot at the same moment Livia did. Their hands collided softly, knuckles brushing. This time, neither pulled away right away. Heat bloomed where they touched, traveling up Livia's arm, settling somewhere beneath her ribs. "Sorry," Serena murmured, though her hand lingered a second longer than necessary. Livia shook her head. "It's okay." It didn't feel okay. It felt charged. It felt like standing too close to something that could burn. She began to sense what Serena never said, the careful distance she maintained, the way her gaze would darken and then retreat, as if she were guarding a door she refused to open. It made Livia want to step closer. To knock. To see what would happen if she didn't wait to be invited. The hotel itself seemed to conspire with them. The lighting stayed low. The nights grew quieter. Even the air felt heavier, warmer, pressing in around their shared space. One evening, Serena's notebook slipped from her lap, landing at Livia's feet. The sound was sharp in the stillness. Serena froze, her breath catching, just a hitch, but Livia felt it. "I've got it," Livia said quickly, bending to pick it up. For a moment, Serena didn't stop her. Livia's fingers brushed the cover, smooth and worn, and something inside her tightened. She handed it back without opening it, meeting Serena's eyes. Gratitude flickered there, followed by something more complex. Something like relief. Or fear. "Thank you," Serena said quietly. Their hands brushed again. This time, Serena's fingers closed around Livia's wrist, not stopping her, not pulling her closer, just holding her there, suspended. Livia's breath caught. She was suddenly aware of how close Serena's mouth was. Of the space between them, warm and alive. Serena released her. The silence that followed felt louder than words. Livia lay awake that night, the hotel ceiling unfamiliar above her. She could still feel the ghost of Serena's touch, still see the way her eyes had softened before she pulled away. Desire stirred, not sharp, not demanding, but persistent. Curious. She didn't know what Serena was hiding. She only knew that whatever it was had weight. And that she wanted, dangerously, to be trusted with it. The next night, as they stood side by side at the table, their shoulders almost touching, Serena leaned in just enough for Livia to feel her warmth. Her voice dropped, barely more than breath. "There are things," Serena began, then stopped. Livia turned toward her, heart pounding, waiting. Serena closed her eyes, the notebook pressed to her chest, and shook her head, once. When she looked up again, her gaze held apology, longing, restraint. The space between them felt impossibly small. The second week at the hotel blurred into a rhythm Livia hadn't known she was craving. Nights stretched longer. Mornings arrived softer. And somewhere between the quiet hum of the vending machine and the steady breathing of an old building at rest, Serena became part of her internal landscape, like warmth remembered, like a scent that lingered on clothes after leaving a room. It started with how they sat. At first, there had been a careful distance, chairs angled politely apart. Now, without either of them naming it, the space narrowed. Knees aligned beneath the table. Elbows brushed when they reached for sugar packets. Their bodies began to mirror each other unconsciously, leaning in at the same time, tilting their heads in the same quiet rhythm, breathing in sync without permission. Livia noticed it most in the pauses. In the way Serena would inhale just before Livia spoke, as if anticipating her words. In how Livia found herself waiting, just a fraction of a second, before responding, matching Serena's cadence. Their conversation slowed, thickened, filled with charged silences that didn't beg to be filled but pulsed with something unspoken. One night, the elevator was out of order. They stood at the stairwell entrance, coffee cups in hand, staring up at the narrow spiral that climbed into shadow. The hotel had gone quiet early, the kind of silence that made footsteps feel too loud. "It's not far," Livia said, though her voice betrayed a hope that Serena might hesitate. Serena didn't. She stepped forward first, her shoulder brushing Livia's arm as she passed. "After you," she said, low, almost intimate. The stairwell smelled faintly of dust and old paint. The walls curved inward, close enough that Livia could feel Serena's presence behind her, close, unavoidably close. With each step, the distance narrowed. Their arms brushed. Fabric skimmed skin. The sound of their breathing filled the confined space, amplifying every small movement. Halfway up, Serena's hand hovered near the railing. Livia's fingers found it instead. It was instinctive. Immediate. Neither of them acknowledged it, but Serena's hand closed gently around Livia's fingers, steadying her as if the stairs were steep enough to justify it. The contact lasted only a few steps, but when Serena let go, Livia felt the absence like a sudden chill. Inside the lounge again, the air felt warmer. Charged. They sat closer than usual, thighs nearly touching now. Livia could feel the heat of Serena's leg through the thin fabric of her jeans, could sense her shifting slightly, adjusting without creating distance. When Serena spoke, her voice seemed lower, the words slower, as if weighed down by something held just beneath the surface. "There are reasons," Serena said suddenly, staring into her cup, "that I don't stay in places long." Livia's breath caught, not from surprise, but from the careful way the sentence had been constructed. A door half opened. A warning disguised as a confession. "You don't have to explain," Livia said softly, though part of her wanted nothing more than to hear everything. Serena looked at her then. Really looked. Her gaze flicked, just once, to Livia's mouth before returning to her eyes. The movement was subtle, but it landed hard, sending a ripple of awareness through Livia's body. "It's not about explanation," Serena said. "It's about patterns." The word hung between them. Livia felt the pull then, not just physical, though that was undeniable, but emotional. A magnetic awareness sharpened by restraint. Serena wasn't distant because she lacked desire. She was distant because she recognized it. That realization made Livia step closer. Not abruptly. Not deliberately. Just enough that her shoulder brushed Serena's arm and stayed there. Serena inhaled sharply, the sound barely audible, but Livia felt it like a spark. They spent the next nights navigating that edge, circling without touching, touching without naming it. Passing the sugar bowl hand to hand, fingers lingering a breath too long. Sitting so close that Livia could feel Serena's warmth radiating into her side. Leaning over the same page of a book Serena had brought down once, their heads nearly touching, breath mingling. The black notebook remained a constant presence, always between them or against Serena's chest. A boundary. A secret. An anchor. One evening, a storm rolled in without warning. Rain hammered against the tall windows, the sound filling the lounge with a steady, intimate rhythm. The lights flickered once, then settled into a dim glow that made the shadows feel alive. Serena shivered. Livia noticed immediately. Without thinking, she slid her cardigan off her shoulders and held it out. "Here." Serena hesitated, just long enough for the moment to stretch, then accepted it. As she slipped it on, her fingers brushed Livia's wrist, her touch deliberate this time. The cardigan hung loose on her, sleeves too long, fabric catching the light. It felt intimate in a way Livia wasn't prepared for. Seeing something of hers on Serena's body. Watching her adjust it, tugging the sleeve up, thumb grazing skin. "You didn't have to," Serena said quietly. "I wanted to." Their eyes locked. The rain grew louder, as if urging them on. Serena leaned in, not all the way, but close enough that Livia could feel her breath, warm and steady, against her cheek. The space between their mouths shrank to inches. Livia's pulse thundered, her awareness narrowing to the small, electric space they shared. For a moment, nothing else existed. Then Serena stopped. She pulled back just enough to breathe, her hand still resting against Livia's arm, fingers curled slightly, betraying reluctance. "This is where it gets complicated," she murmured, her voice rougher now. Livia swallowed. "We already are." A flicker of something, pain, longing, fear, crossed Serena's face. She dropped her hand slowly, as if releasing something fragile. "I can't promise you anything," Serena said. "Not yet." Livia nodded, though every part of her wanted to step forward again, to close the distance Serena had created. "I'm not asking for promises." Serena's gaze softened. She reached for her notebook, pressing it to her chest like a shield. Then, almost against her will, she leaned closer once more, her voice barely more than breath. "Later," she said. The word landed like a vow. The night it happened, the hotel felt smaller, as if the walls had leaned in quietly while they weren't looking. The lounge lights were dimmer than usual, the storm outside still lingering in the air even though the rain had stopped. Everything smelled warm and damp, like fabric drying slowly. Livia noticed it the moment she stepped inside, the way the air clung to her skin, the way her body already anticipated Serena before she saw her. Serena was there, of course. She always was. She stood near the window this time, cardigan folded over the back of a chair, black notebook resting open on the table. The lamp beside her cast a soft glow along the line of her jaw, catching on the curve of her cheekbone. She looked up when Livia entered, and something in her expression shifted, not surprise, not relief, but recognition. As if she had been waiting without admitting it to herself. "You're late," Serena said softly. Livia smiled. "You noticed." Serena's mouth curved in response, but her eyes lingered longer than the smile itself. "I always do." They moved around each other with practiced familiarity now, Livia reaching for the kettle, Serena stepping aside without being asked. Their arms brushed as they passed, not accidental this time, not quite intentional either. A controlled closeness. An awareness sharpened by repetition. When the kettle clicked off, Livia poured slowly, careful not to spill. Serena leaned in to add sugar, her shoulder pressing lightly into Livia's arm. Neither of them moved away. The contact held. Warmth spread, quiet, deliberate. Their breaths aligned before they noticed. It was Serena who broke it first, stepping back just enough to reset the space. Livia felt the retreat immediately, like the sudden absence of sound after music stops. "You're tired," Serena said, her voice lower now. "So are you." Serena's gaze dropped briefly, then returned to Livia's face. "I don't sleep much." Livia nodded. "I know." That acknowledgement seemed to land deeper than expected. Serena exhaled slowly, her shoulders softening, as if she had been holding something in place for too long. The lounge was empty tonight. No footsteps in the hallway. No elevator hum. Just the low crackle of the lamp and the distant sounds of the city breathing beyond the windows. Serena gestured toward the notebook. "I was trying to write," she said. "But I keep losing the thread. Maybe it doesn't want to be written tonight." Serena considered that. "Maybe." Livia stepped closer, drawn by something she couldn't quite name. Serena didn't move away. Their heads bent slightly toward each other, eyes dropping to the page between them. Livia could see the handwriting now, tight in some places, looser in others, as if emotion had shaped the letters. "What's it about?" Livia asked. Serena hesitated. The pause stretched, heavy with implication. Then she turned the notebook slightly, just enough to allow Livia to see, but not read. "Loss," Serena said. "And the danger of wanting again." Livia's breath caught. She felt the words settle somewhere low in her body, stirring something that had already been awake for days. Serena looked at her then, really looked, her eyes searching Livia's face as if for permission. Livia didn't speak. She simply stayed. Her stillness was its own answer. Serena's fingers brushed Livia's hand, light, testing. Livia didn't pull away. Instead, her fingers curved slightly, a mirrored movement that sent a quiet signal through the space between them. Serena inhaled. Slowly. Livia matched her without thinking. They stood there like that, hands barely touching, breath synchronizing, the world narrowing to the space they shared. Heat gathered, not sharp, not frantic, but deep and steady, like something that had been building patiently. Serena stepped closer. The movement was subtle, almost unnoticeable, but suddenly Livia was aware of everything, the warmth radiating from Serena's body, the faint scent of soap and paper, the way her voice seemed closer even in silence. Livia tilted her head slightly, not moving away, not moving closer, and offering a question. Serena's gaze flicked once more to Livia's mouth. Her hand tightened, just a fraction. "Tell me to stop," Serena murmured. Livia swallowed, her voice barely steady. "I don't want you to." The words settled between them like an exhale. Serena closed the distance slowly, giving Livia every moment to change her mind. Their foreheads touched first, a gentle press that sent a tremor through Livia's chest. She could feel Serena's breath now, warm, uneven, brushing her skin. Their noses grazed. The contact was so light it almost felt imagined. Livia's hand lifted on instinct, fingers hovering near Serena's sleeve, waiting. Serena leaned in just enough for their lips to brush, barely there, a whisper of contact that stole Livia's breath. The kiss was brief. Tender. Trembling. It wasn't about hunger. It was about recognition. Serena's lips lingered for a heartbeat longer than caution allowed, then pulled back. Livia's eyes fluttered open, her breath uneven, her body humming with sensation. Warmth spread outward from the point of contact, settling under her skin, in her hands, in her chest. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Serena stepped back abruptly, breaking the spell. Her hand dropped. Her gaze shifted, conflicted. "I shouldn't have," she began, then stopped, shaking her head. Livia reached out instinctively, fingers brushing Serena's wrist. Serena stilled at the contact, but didn't turn back. "I want to," Serena said quietly. "And that's the problem." She pulled her wrist free, not harshly, but with resolve, and gathered her notebook to her chest like armor. "I can't do this tonight," she added, her voice strained. "Not without saying things I'm not ready to say." The distance between them felt sharper now, edged with ache. Livia nodded, though her heart pounded. "Okay." Serena paused at the doorway, her back to Livia, shoulders tense. "This changes things," she said softly. "Yes," Livia agreed. Serena hesitated, then left, her footsteps fading down the hallway. Livia stood alone in the quiet lounge, her lips still tingling, her breath unsteady, the warmth of Serena's presence lingering like a promise she wasn't sure how to keep. The nights changed after the kiss. Not in obvious ways. Not in anything the hotel staff would have noticed, or that could be pointed to and named. But the air between them carried weight now, dense with what had been awakened and deliberately left unfinished. Desire no longer hovered. It pressed. It asked questions neither of them was ready to answer. Livia felt it first in the absences. Serena didn't come down the following night. Or the one after that. The lounge felt colder without her, the single lamp casting light over an empty chair, the kettle clicking off into silence. Livia still made 2 cups out of habit. Still let one cool untouched. The porcelain cup, warm, familiar, rested against her palm like a reminder she couldn't set down. Sleep eluded her. When she closed her eyes, she felt Serena's breath again, the brief contact of lips, the way her name had almost formed on Serena's mouth and then been swallowed by restraint. Wanting had never felt this heavy. On the 3rd night, Serena returned. She stood in the doorway longer than usual, as if crossing the threshold required negotiation. Her hair was loose tonight, falling around her shoulders, and she wore a coat Livia hadn't seen before, dark, structured, a quiet barrier between her body and the room. Their eyes met. Neither smiled. "Hi," Livia said softly. Serena nodded once. "Hi." They moved with caution now, like people relearning a shared space after something fragile had cracked. They didn't sit immediately. Serena lingered near the table, fingers tracing the edge of the black notebook without opening it. Livia noticed how her hand trembled, just slightly, before stilling. "I thought maybe you'd stopped coming," Livia said, not accusing, just honest. Serena exhaled slowly. "I thought maybe I should." The words settled between them, weighted with implication. Livia didn't ask why. She already knew the shape of the answer. Fear. Guilt. History pressing its palm against the present. They sat opposite each other this time, the distance intentional. The lamp hummed softly, its light catching on the rim of Serena's cup when she lifted it. Her fingers wrapped around the porcelain as if grounding herself. The sight sent a quiet ache through Livia, how the simple act mirrored nights before, how warmth had once flowed so easily between them. The symbol returned with cruel tenderness. "I keep thinking about that night," Livia said, her voice low. "About what we didn't say." Serena's jaw tightened. "So do I." Silence stretched, taut and alive. Serena's gaze dropped to the table, then lifted again, eyes darker now, layered with longing she no longer fully concealed. "I don't trust myself," Serena said finally. "Not with you." Livia's breath caught. "Because you want me?" Serena's lips parted, then pressed together again. Her hesitation spoke louder than any answer. "Yes," she said quietly. "And because wanting you makes me forget all the reasons I promised myself I wouldn't want anyone again." The confession trembled in the air, fragile and dangerous. Livia leaned forward without realizing it, her hands resting on the table, palms open. "You don't have to punish yourself for feeling something." Serena's eyes flicked to Livia's hands, then back to her face. "You don't know what feeling something has cost me before." There it was. The edge of the wound. The reason for the notebook. The reason she held herself apart. "I know what it costs to deny it," Livia said gently. Serena laughed once, breathless, without humor. "Do you?" "Yes," Livia said. "I'm paying for it right now." The words landed harder than Livia intended. Serena inhaled sharply, her composure slipping just enough to reveal how close she already was to breaking. They stood at the same time, movement mirrored, tension immediate. The space between them felt charged again, thick with everything unsaid. Serena took a half step closer, then stopped. Her hand lifted slightly, hovering between them, fingers curved as if remembering the shape of Livia's wrist. "Don't," Serena whispered. Livia's voice softened. "Then don't touch me." Serena's breath hitched. Her hand remained suspended, trembling now, the distance between their fingers unbearably small. Livia could feel her warmth again, could sense the pull like gravity. "I think about it," Serena said, her voice rough. "About how easily you let me see you. About how dangerous that is for me." Livia's eyes searched hers. "I'm not asking you to be brave," she said. "Just honest." Serena closed her eyes, just for a moment. When she opened them again, they were glossy with emotion she hadn't yet allowed to fall. "I want to stay," Serena said. "And I want to leave. And both feel like they'll ruin me." The truth hung between them, heavy and intimate. Livia stepped closer, slowly, deliberately, giving Serena time to retreat. She didn't. Their bodies aligned again, heat gathering in the narrow space between them. Livia's hand lifted, stopping just short of Serena's arm. "Tell me to stop," Livia murmured. Serena swallowed. Her gaze dropped to Livia's mouth, lingered, then lifted again, conflicted. "If I don't?" "I'll stop anyway," Livia said. "But I need to know you want it too." Serena's breath shook. "I do." The admission barely cleared her lips. Their hands almost met, fingers brushing the air where the other should have been. The longing was physical now, humming beneath the skin, demanding resolution. Footsteps echoed faintly in the hallway. The spell fractured. Serena stepped back abruptly, pulling her hand to her chest, clutching the notebook like a lifeline. The distance snapped into place, sharp and painful. "I can't," she said, voice trembling. "Not yet." Livia nodded, though her heart ached. "Okay." Serena moved toward the door, then hesitated, hand resting against the frame. She looked back, eyes full of desire and fear locked in quiet battle. "This isn't over," she said softly. "I know," Livia replied. Serena turned away, the door closing halfway behind her before stopping, left ajar, unresolved. Livia watched it for a long moment, her breath uneven, the warmth of the cup still pressed into her palm, the echo of almost touch burning brighter than certainty. The decision arrived quietly, the way truth often does, without ceremony, without warning, slipping into Livia's awareness while the hotel slept around her. It was past midnight when she felt it settle, firm and undeniable. Not urgency. Not fear. Just clarity. She carried 2 cups down to the lounge anyway. The kettle clicked off, steam curling into the dim light like a held breath finally released. The porcelain warmed her palms, familiar now, intimate. She stood there for a moment, grounding herself in the heat, in the steadiness of something she could hold. Then she turned. Serena was already there. She stood near the window again, coat unbuttoned, hair loose, the black notebook tucked under her arm like it always had been, except tonight, her grip on it was different. Less defensive. More resolved. When she saw Livia, her shoulders dropped, just slightly, as if she had been bracing for something and decided to stop. "You came," Serena said. "So did you." A small smile passed between them, fragile and real. They didn't rush toward each other. They moved slowly, deliberately, closing the distance in steps that felt earned. Livia set 1 cup down in front of Serena, their fingers brushing as she did. This time, neither of them flinched. The contact lingered, steady, consensual. "I've been thinking," Serena said, her voice low, measured. "About what you said. About honesty." Livia nodded, her breath calm but expectant. "Me too." Serena placed the notebook on the table between them, not as a barrier this time, but as an offering. She rested her hand on it, fingers splayed, then slowly lifted her gaze. "There's a letter," she said. "I wrote it a long time ago. To someone I loved. Someone I lost. I never meant for anyone else to see it." Livia felt the weight of the moment but didn't interrupt. She stayed still, open, allowing Serena the space to continue. "I carried the guilt forward," Serena went on. "Convinced myself that wanting again would be a betrayal. That desire was something I had already used up." Her voice trembled, not breaking, but close. "And then you sat down across from me," she said softly. "With your bare feet and your quiet attention. And suddenly the world felt warm again." The words landed gently, devastating in their tenderness. Livia stepped closer, her movement slow enough to be an invitation, not a demand. Serena didn't retreat. Instead, she mirrored the step, closing the space until the air between them felt charged and intimate. "I don't want to be a mistake," Serena whispered. "You're not," Livia replied. "And I'm not asking you to forget what you lost. I'm asking you not to disappear because of it." Serena's breath caught. Her eyes softened, something loosening behind them. She reached out, her hand hovering near Livia's waist, waiting. Livia nodded once, a quiet yes. The touch was gentle. Grounded. Serena's palm rested there, warm through fabric, steady and sure. Livia's hand rose to Serena's shoulder, fingers curving naturally, as if they had always belonged there. They stood like that for a moment, breathing together, letting their bodies learn the truth their words had finally allowed. Serena leaned in slowly, giving Livia time to pull away. She didn't. Their foreheads touched, a familiar beginning, but this time there was no urgency beneath it, only intention. Their breaths mingled, warm and even. The kiss that followed was unhurried. It was deeper than the first, but just as tender. Lips meeting softly, lingering, exploring nothing more than presence and permission. Livia felt Serena exhale against her mouth, felt the tension finally release from her shoulders. The world narrowed again, but this time, it didn't feel fragile. It felt anchored. When they pulled back, Serena rested her forehead against Livia's, eyes closed. "I want this," she said. "I want you. Not as an escape. As a choice." Livia smiled, her thumb brushing Serena's wrist, a quiet echo of that first almost touch. "Then stay." Serena opened her eyes. She nodded. They sat together afterward, closer than they ever had before. Knees touching. Shoulders aligned. The porcelain cups warmed and cooled between their hands, the symbol transformed, not just a reminder of longing now, but of shared stillness. Of something chosen. The letter remained unread. It didn't need to be. Its weight had been acknowledged, honored, and gently set aside, not erased, but no longer ruling the present. Later, when the night began to thin toward morning, Serena spoke again, her voice thoughtful, softened by truth. "Wanting someone," she said, "is terrifying. But it's also the bravest thing I've done in years." Livia considered that, then answered quietly, "Maybe courage is just letting yourself be seen, and staying anyway." Serena smiled, the kind of smile that reaches the eyes. Before we fall deeper into stories like this, stories of desire, truth, and the courage to choose closeness, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and tell me in the comments if you've ever stood on the edge of wanting someone and wondered whether you were brave enough to stay.